Infernal greetings, infernal blessings to all. Has been a minute? Yes, it has. Today's discussion will be about the Wa'ash. The Wa'ash is an Arabic word that means the beast. The beast. And understanding what the beast is when we walk this path, particularly the black path within the left-hand path. The Wa'ash is our beast. It is our beast that has been suppressed. It is our beast that's being controlled. It is our beast that is being quieted. Why? Well, the beast is a primordial energy. It's a primordial force that exists within us. And it doesn't operate off of logic. It doesn't operate off of rules, regulations, and so on and so forth. The beast is instinctual. The beast is ferocious. The beast is what is necessary to break free from the chains that bind us, our mental chains, our physical chains that we have put upon ourselves. And without the Wa'ash, the beast, we are nothing more than a mindless zombie, a slave to society, a slave to religion, a slave to tradition, a slave to morality, so on and so forth. The Wa'ash doesn't look at things the way we do. Good, bad, right, wrong, ugly, beautiful, male, female, so on and so forth. It predates these concepts. It predates these ideas. The Wa'ash is what is necessary to awaken from the slumber that many of us are in. And just because you may walk the left hand path, you may walk whatever path of your choosing, does not mean that you're exempt from mind control, does not mean you're exempt from morality and the binding nature of morality. It does not mean you're exempt from any of these things. Because within the left hand path, there are many traditions that also bind you and can control you and weaken you. The Wa'ash does not submit. The Wa'ash does not bow. The Wa'ash is the self, the true self, the ferocious self that understands themselves as being the true, the power, the strength. It understands these things. And it's been trying to claw free, but we keep putting it back when we give our power to external things, to outside forces, outside beliefs. And it keeps weakening us to the point that we can't see. See, this existence that we currently live in is a newly created existence that comes from basically what some would say is Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, etc., etc. It created this existence because it doesn't want to be a part of something else. And within this system that was created, this so called deity created rules, laws, and regulations to break you away from the primordial, to keep you bound within external worship for a God, Allah, Yahweh, so on and so forth, and to create a system that would never allow you to obtain self mastery, allow you to obtain the true power of self. So, what happens is we're taught to awaken and give life to our soul, our soul. which in Arabic is the ruh or ruah. In Hebrew is the ruach. But our soul is an emotional body. It is our emotional body that we have become slaves to. That doesn't mean you don't feel, but feeling irrationally can lead to problems. Letting your emotions rule you and you not rule your emotions can definitely lead you to serious problems. So what happens is our ruh or ruah or our soul is the enemy of our beast, of our wa'ash, our beast, because it is these emotions that bind us and creates ignorance in our life. It allows us to be used, abused, manipulated, so on and so forth. And we freely give it away. And we freely give our power to others. And others are waiting to you to do that so they can have control over you. It's a shame because within that context, you could see how a servant, a slave is created. Because not understanding your wa'ash, which is your connection to the primordial, which is the primordial itself, is disconnecting you from everything you could be and giving you morality, giving you these rules and regulations that bind your emotions to them, further puts us under. It further allows more control over us. We have to understand that when you speak of demons, you're speaking primordial beings. Religion comes in after the fact and labels demons and angels, so on and so forth, to create more layers of separation and division from yourself. It creates more definitions to keep you confused about who you are, what you are. Therefore, what is necessary is for the Wa'ash, the beast, to awaken. We, however, don't let it out. As long as I've been teaching these Patreon classes, as long as I've been working and walking the occult, there is always a level of worship where humans feel that they are not in control over self. They feel that they are not a master over themselves, and therefore they feel they must always appease, beg, or ask for some external power to do it for them. And that only destroys your beast even more, your wa'ash even more. It makes it harder to awaken. We have to do the job of letting the beast out. And to do that, you have to tear away from the confines of good, bad, ugly, right, wrong, beautiful, angels, demons, so on and so forth. You have to go to the primordial. And there, these primordial entities give us further gnosis of the true self that you can find even without contacting an external source. Well, how? Why? How is your primordial? Your Wa'ash is already part of the primordial. It's been a part of the primordial since the beginning of existence. Not the new existence that we live in now, but pre existing this creation by this Allah Yahweh God. There was the primordial creation, and from it was a new creation that was developed by this Allah Yahweh God, so on and so forth, to put a new confine on people. And most of us We're extracted mentally. We allowed ourselves to be extracted mentally from the primordial to be put into a new existence. In Arabic, in some of the Sufi teachings, there's three levels or three planes of three existences. There's Nasut, which is the human realm of existence, the forgetful realm. There is the Malakut, which is the realm of messengers or messages. Some people interpret it as messengers, like an external alien, angel, or so on and so forth. But in truth, it is actually your messages that are being received by you. All right. And that is would be considered the mental realm, from the astral realm to the mental realm. And then there's Lahut, which is the absolute. Not Allah. Allah is confined between Malakut and Nasut, the mental and the physical realm. The absolute would be beyond that. So we were extracted from the absolute, Lahut, and put into the confines of Malakut and Lahut, the mental and the physical realm. And therefore, your Wa'ash is from the Lahut, from the absolute. It is from the absolute that your Wa'ash is and you are from. But when you were put into these confines, you forgot. You disconnected and your Wa'ash was suppressed. And therefore, you have harder difficulties getting back to the primordial, getting back to the absolute. It makes it more difficult because our emotions run rampant. Our emotions control us more than we have control over it. Rage consumes us instead of us using rage as a fire or torch for power. Our sadness leads us down the road of depression, which then leads us to be devouring instead of us devouring our sadness and transmuting it into something of power. But this is what occurs when we stray from who we really are, the Wa'ash, the beast. And notice the play by media in reference to this. The media, mass media, movies, shows, so on and so forth, always depict the monster as something to be fearful of, something that is destructive, ugly, decrepit, scary, so on and so forth. And that is done purposely to make you afraid of your own personal beast, your own personal monster of who you really are. That is why it is done. It doesn't want you to connect back to who you really are. So they make you afraid of yourself. They make you want to run from yourself by depicting and creating cinema and movies where the demon, the monster, and the beast is something horrific and something to run from. But yet, when you listen, the beast, the monster, the adversary is subtly confessing truth within these movies. And then here comes the okey doke. They bring in the morality to put you right back under a spell of mind control. But if you listen closely to the adversary in movies, the monsters and demons and beasts in movies, they're the ones teaching the truth. We can't hear it because we're confined into the realm of light. Nasut to Malakut in the realm of light. So therefore, the darkness is distant to us. The darkness is something to be made fearful of. And Hollywood plays on this. Religion plays on this. And we eat it up and never question it. We don't allow ourselves to question. And this is another system of control, mind control, through religion, society, so on and so forth. Because the more you question, the more you start to see the holes in their philosophy, in their teachings, in their religions. You start to see the hole widen. And when you start to see the hole widen, when you start to question these things, then you start to be able to break free from it. To break free from it is terrifying to some. It's terrifying to some because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because it's not fitting into this confine of religion, society, morality, rules, regulations, so on and so forth. So if I can keep you trapped here, I can control you. But if I can't keep you trapped here, you can break free. And you start to be the Wa'ash, the beast that will conquer your weaknesses, devour your weaknesses, conquer your programming, devour your programming, and break free from the confines. But people have to want it. People have to want to be free. They have to want to break away. And it's very difficult to break away if you still think Lilith is going to break you free and not realize that Lilith is a primordial being just like you are. There is no separation other than you forgot. You became forgetful. In the Bible, they use the word enos, or in Hebrew, enosh, which means forgetful. In Arabic, nas comes, and also insan relates to being a forgetful human being. You were made to forget so that when you forget, you cannot awaken your wa'ash. Instead, you will seek an angel. You will seek Michael, Mikael. You will seek Raphael. You will seek these light beings. And unbeknownst to you, you're being devoured within the light. You're being encased within a programming that limits your power and potential. So this is why they push the light, they push religion, they push family, community, society to the extreme that they do. Because the minute you break from that, the beast is awakened and you become more of a threat to society and to their program and their system than if you stay within those confines. The Wa'ash, that beast, is awakened through a lot of spiritual development and work. Right now, we are all under attack, left, right, middle, doesn't matter what you believe, think, or feel. We're all under attack. It's a mental attack. It's a mental war upon us, especially those who have broken free from the programming. There's a mental attack on your consciousness and your subconscious. They have programs right now. They have a machine, the name escapes from me, where they can shoot a ray of information into your mind and make it sound like your words, make it sound like your voice. So your thoughts are slowly but surely no longer yours. They're actually using your voice against you. They're using your voice against you and programming you in the process through your voice. They're creating new programs that can use your voice when you get a crank call or you get a call and then there's no one on the other end and they hang up after 5 seconds. They're recording your voice. And they do this a few times and then they can use AI can use your voice and create a whole conversation and send it back into your mind as your own thoughts. I mean, as thoughts that you think are yours, but are really sent to you from an outside source using your voice. So, therefore, your subconscious believes it's you because your subconscious only knows your voice. And therefore, you're programmed. There's a whole bunch of little gadgets and tricks that are going to be played on the masses. So, how do you protect yourself from this? You have to develop psychic self-defense. And people will ask quite constantly, well, how do I develop psychic self-defense? And they think it's some grandiose, super new age type of technique to do this. It's not. It's very simple to create psychic self-defense. Your mantras, your dika or chants, repetition on certain words of power is your psychic self defense. It blocks out external sources from penetrating your subconscious mind. You build a shield and a block around your subconscious mind. Your ritual work, particularly when you get to your invocations and path working, is a psychic self defense mechanism. This is of the utmost importance to remember these things. Your meditations, not passive meditation, active meditation can also be psychic self defense. Passive meditation sometimes allows the penetration of the subconscious mind from an external source. Your wa'ash is what is necessary for your psychic self defense. Your beast must awaken. Your beast must rule again, because without it, you put yourself at risk to go back under and into the spell and system of control. Remember in the Matrix movie, how did they find Neo? It was through a frequency that was activated by the red pill. A frequency, a sound, a vibration allowed them to identify one of their own that was breaking free and awake from the matrix of control. This is exactly what we're trying to share with you right now. The black path is where you learn more about the Wa'ash, is where you learn more about Dhikr or remembrance, this certain type of chant that is utilized to activate the primordial forces within yourself. This is why people tend to run from themselves because they've been made fearful of the power of the beast, the Wa'ash. So we must do the work. We must awaken. So let me just share this on a quick side note. Yes, the class is still going on Patreon. I will have a major announcement in December about Patreon classes that will benefit a lot of people. It will benefit a lot of people. Stay tuned for the very beginning of December when I make that announcement. Okay. I'm adding new classes because I had to shut down the Sith Temple of Darkness page for lack of support. So I'm merging the Sith classes within the Temple of Black Serpent. So that's a new additional class that will be taught. I'm reactivating the Black Path. What is the Black Path? The Black Path is the path of Shaitan, Iblis, Jinn. We're going to do exclusive work within that path with that energy, with that frequency, with that vibration. It's going to deal with Jinn magic. It's going to deal with uh Arab black magic. It's going to deal with dhikring or remembrance, the power of words, the power of chanting. It's going to deal with certain black path meditations. It's going to deal with that. And in the class, you will find out why I'm doing this. Okay. So that class will be activated now as well. These two classes will begin January 1st, or in the month of January, we'll begin those classes, meaning the beginning of the month, those new classes will be available to sign up for. We still have our Tunnels of Set class. We're going to finish that this year, get into the Cliff Oath. Necromancy will still go on. The Vampire class will still go on, but I'm just adding these two classes. And then the Sith class, like I said, I will have that there too for those who choose to. Okay. So stay tuned for the grand announcement in December, very beginning of December. It will help and benefit many of you all. All right. Infernal blessings, infernal greetings. Remember, awaken the Wahsh, the beast. It is time for that to happen.